Hello, Ingrid Thompson here, and I just wanted to take this chance to make a video about our current situation. I'm recording this in March 2020. In fact, it's the most divine day today, magnificent day this week. And you know, 2 months ago in Sydney, we had skies where we couldn't actually see the sun. We were saying, my gosh, how long is it since we've seen blue sky? And you know, there's something to be really grateful for today, that we actually have wonderful sunshine, we have clean, fresh air. And I am heading to the beach very soon because I just want to get into the ocean and just wash off some of this C-19 noise that is really just washing around us. And I'm just going to jump into that beautiful ocean and just see if those waves can help cleanse. Okay, so, but you know, seriously, we're looking for leadership at this time, and you know, leaders are absolutely everywhere. And probably if you're listening to this, you are a leader as well. And you know, there's a lot going on that we cannot control, and there's a lot going on that we can control. So we can control what we say. We can control what we say about the situation. We can say control what we say to clients, to really reassure them that everything that we are doing is for them, is to help them understand how they can look after themselves during this time. So it really is a time for us. We are in a unique position to step into a leadership role, show by example by setting aside fear, because when we set aside fear, we can make good decisions. And how we make good decisions is through gathering facts. We make decisions sometimes quickly, and speed over perfection every time. In fact, I heard a fantastic quote recently that perfection is the antithesis of evolution, and we wouldn't actually evolve if we were caught up with perfection. And the other thing is, so we gather facts, we make good decisions, and we make them quickly, and we are ready to change course. So even if we make a decision, that we are ready to change course. And I think that's one of the things that's important to talk about as part of what we're dealing with here in March 2020, is that it is changing every day, that we are seeing information coming to us in bits and pieces, and we really don't know all the facts, and the facts change. So one of the things that's super important to do is to stay calm, because when we set aside fear, then we're able to make better decisions. And we're going to need to be very creative in how we cope with this. But we're already seeing amazing things. The sales of Zoom have skyrocketed. People are using Zoom where they had never even thought to use Zoom before. You know, we're seeing people working from home. We're seeing businesses allow people to be creative about how they get their work done. Okay, so one of the other things that we can absolutely have control about is how we use our time. How we use our time, how we use our energy, and how we maintain our health during this time. You know, how we eat, how we sleep. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a moment. And one of the other things that we can control is how we respond to other people, and you know, how we respond to other people's views. Everyone is responding to this differently. And you know, I've actually even noticed that what somebody believes today, they kind of shift a bit on that tomorrow. And even myself, you know, I'm not really sure where I stick with this. You know, should I be washing my hands every 5 minutes and really being super strict about everything hygiene? Or do I still go to my Pilates class where I am going to be in a room with other people and just know that I'm going to be a little bit careful? It's a tricky one to respect all points of view, because people may have completely different views, and now more than ever it's truly important to have a degree of compassion, so that we can actually just, even if we don't necessarily agree, that we just allow the space for people to have those views and just listen to what they have to say. And maybe just separate yourself from, you know, limited exposure to extreme views, limited exposure to false information. Find your one source of truth. And I just this week, there was about 3 or 4 in one day sessions about how to cope with the corona situation, COVID-19, C-19, whatever we want to call it. And somebody talked about the Stockdale Paradox, and I really liked this. It's an army one, but it's somebody who was imprisoned, and the people who didn't survive were the optimists, because they thought, you know, by the weekend it'll be okay, by Easter it'll be okay, by summer it'll be okay, by Thanksgiving, by Christmas. They put these things, and of course it wasn't. And so the Stockdale Paradox is because the fellow who made it up was Mr. Stockdale. And he talked about having an eye on the fact that we will get through this, because we will. And, you know, there's a beautiful thing that says this too shall pass. And, you know, we can think of that idea of, you know, it's all going to be okay, it'll all be all right in the end. But at the same time, the focus has to be on facing the brutal facts at the time. And so we have to now find our sources of truth. So who do we go to for actual facts? Because uncertainty fuels anxiety. And I was listening to Elizabeth Gilbert recently. She was in Sydney, and she was saying that the true pandemic is the pandemic of anxiety, of fear, of uncertainty, and all of that fuels itself. So how do we get facts, surround ourselves by the people that we want to listen to, go to the sources of truth where people are factual, that you know that they are the sort of people who are able to give us the information. So health professionals, people who are experts in their field. And also, because there's three aspects that we need to look after ourselves. We need to look after our emotional selves, we need to look after our practical selves, and we need to look after ourselves financially. So emotionally, how are we going to look after ourselves emotionally? What are we going to listen to? You know, what podcasts, what parts of social media are we going to look to? Who are we going to follow? So who are the people that you know are the voices of reason? And then practical, you know, what can you do practically? You know, we do need to know that we've got enough eggs or milk and coffee and chocolate and cat food and things like that. So we need to be a bit practical about it. And then financially, you know, doubling down, making sure we've got some sensible plans in place for financial. If you need to talk to the bank, go talk to them soon, because, you know, very soon there could be more and more people heading to the banks. So there's three ways we could get through this. We can put our head in the sand and pretend it's not happening. We could just muddle along and be buffered around by it. Or we can actually put ourselves in a position so that when this is over, and trust me, well, I guess it will be over. I'm pretty sure it will. You know, put yourself in a position for your future, whatever that is. And we don't know what that is right now. But you know, the earth is recovering in a way that it hasn't before. Today is the middle of March, and there's posts about how the canals in Venice are clean. They can see the bottom of the canal. There's dolphins in the canals. They haven't seen dolphins for years. The swans are back in the canals of Venice because the water's so clean in just a week. So, you know, imagine what's going to happen to the earth as we have this time for everybody to regenerate and revive and reinvigorate. So, re-energize. How are you going to do that? Are you going to read? Are you going to listen to TED Talks? Are you going to learn? Are you going to go walking? Are you taking yourself out into the sunshine? So that, because, you know, if we're working from home, if we're not having to spend time on transport, that's extra time for us. Are we going to exercise? Simply, you know, there's lots of things available online. Get more sleep, have a nap in the afternoon, eat well, really make sure that we're eating healthy, and learn and explore, and maybe just sit. Maybe just sit. And time to breathe. Let's all take a really deep breath right now. See, even that feels better, doesn't it? So maybe this is a time to breathe. So if you've done what you have to do, then I'll stay in touch. I'll record some more of these. I'll put things on my podcast. I'll certainly be sharing information all around. I just wanted to put this together to just reassure you that I am here. If you want to ask me some questions, if you want to email or just listen to what I have to say, I am holding myself as someone who is holding you in the space of leadership so that you can get through this, so that you can help your clients get through this, that you can get your family through this, that you can get yourself through this. So let's stronger together, hashtag. That is exactly what it's all about.